In today's video, I'm going to talk about anti-hair loss shampoos, and this has been a topic that I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys, so I decided to actually make a video and review 7 different shampoos that has been well known in the marketplace, and I will review them in today's video. On those shampoos will be Foligain, it will be Regenpure, Revita, Xyon, Alpecin, Nioxin, and Lipogaine, right? So those shampoos has been around for a while, and I want to talk about them because I know several of you are using them, and I also personally have used most of them as well. So I want to share my personal experience of having used them and what kind of effects they had on my hair situation. And I also will talk about what context they could be beneficial of using, what to expect from them, and when you should avoid using anti-hair loss shampoos. And I also will use different variables to rate them in terms of their effectiveness, in terms of safety. I will use variables such as possible active components in them, such as growth factors, DHT blockers, and also anti-inflammatory benefits of using them, if there is any. And I also will talk about inactive ingredients that are used to hold the shampoo together, right? Inactive components in the shampoo. And I will talk about composition of them and basically everything you need to know to select correct anti-hair loss shampoo if you are looking for one yourself. Before I dive into it, if you are new to the channel, my name is Alex, and I'm someone who is on mission to help men restore their hair to its full potential, regain their confidence by following methods that gives long-lasting results. So let's get into it, and I will start with the first shampoo, which is Nioxin. And Nioxin has been around for a while, and it is often a shampoo that is used for of the guys who have more like oily skin type, excessive sebum, for example, because it does have some active components that can be useful for those kind of scalp problems. So it has, for example, mint oil, peppermint oil, salicylic acid, which again, like when you are using this type of shampoo, what you can expect would be, for example, a bit fresh feeling to the scalp, a bit more circulation to the scalp by more like a tingling effect after using it, and also exfoliation of the scalp, so it can potentially help you with excessive oil, excessive sebum. But the issue with this shampoo is that it also contains inactive ingredients, and those ingredients are problematical. Like if you look at those composition here, you can see that there is a lot of components that can be problematical for the scalp, and it is a formulation that is highly alkanized. So you can see that they also have added a lot of citric acid to the shampoo, and citric acid may not necessarily be a problem, but you can see that it is very high in composition, and that can be potential issue because citric acid, if it's high on the list, it can mean that there is a lot of it in the shampoo, which again could potentially cause skin reaction or imbalances, right? So we don't want to see citric acid this high on the list. And usually it is far below in this section here, right? And you can see basically the composition of the shampoo. It shows how much of each ingredient is added to the shampoo. So it is water-based, so that basically means that 30% of the shampoo is water, right? And then those other components comes afterwards. And the last ones, for example, that are here, such as parabens, for example, and preservatives, they are, for example, 1 or 2% of the shampoo, right? So this is composition of it. And you can also see it has a lot of sodium chloride, which means that basically there is a lot of table salt to the shampoo, and that can be highly problematical for someone with sensitive skin or someone who has a lot of dryness, for example, in the scalp. And of course, those other components are also an issue that can be a problem for a lot of you guys. So when it comes to this shampoo here, I would not recommend it if you are having hair loss. I would not recommend it. And there is much better options. This shampoo is also not like it is around 25 USD for a bottle. So it is not worth the investment. There is better options out there. All right, and just keep in mind that this is Nioxin System 1 shampoo because Nioxin has other types of shampoos as well in their production line. So you can use this video as guide to look at those other ones and see if it is similar to this one here. And if it is, then definitely change to other type of anti-hair loss shampoo if you're using any. All right, so next one on the list is Alpecin. Alpecin has been around for a very long time as well. Like I remember I did see ads for it back in 2008 when I was dealing with my hair loss myself. And it is quite well-known brand. And it is a shampoo that has a caffeine in it, which can potentially be beneficial if you want to address the DHT angle. But the issue with this shampoo is that it also has a lot of ingredients in it that are highly problematical, right? If your scalp is sensitive or having a tendency of getting inflammation, for example, not microinflammation, but inflammation on the scalp, then this shampoo is not something you want to use because it will just cause problems for you. And you can again see that sodium lauryl sulfate, which is harsh surfactant, is high on the list. And additional other ingredients, like you can also see, for example, it has a lot of salt in it, which is problematical. It does have caffeine, so that's fine, but the other components are issue here, and I would not recommend this shampoo either, right? This shampoo is not something I would recommend for someone with a hair loss. And even the pricing for it, like yes, you get a lot of shampoo for the price, but still because of those inactive components in it, I would not recommend this shampoo. So if you are using it, look for other options or get other ones that I will talk about later on. All right, so next one on the list is Xyon. And Xyon shampoo is kind of a newcomer, like it has been around for 1.5, 2 years in the marketplace. Likely you have heard about Xyon brand because they do have a topical finasteride gel, for example, and other things you can use for the treatment. But they do also have a shampoo, and this is a DHT blocking shampoo. And ingredients in it are kind of okay, right? The ingredients are not necessarily that problematical in this shampoo here. It does have some components that can be a bit issue for sensitive skin, but it does have also mild DHT blockers like red clover extract, salmeto, like those are DHT blockers. Then it also has a components for more like a growth factors in terms of increasing circulation, for example. And there is multiple other components that is added here as well, like if you look at the ingredients. But the issues that I have with this shampoo is that the price for it is very high, like 35 USD. I would expect a lot more from this kind of shampoo. So that's the reason why I wouldn't recommend it. It's not because necessarily because of the ingredients itself, but the pricing for it is too high. And in terms of the value you get from components and key components is not it's not reflecting the price. Like if it was, for example, 25, 30 USD, then it could be potentially a shampoo to look into. But for this price, I would skip it over it. So next one on the list is Foligain. And Foligain, it is something that I personally was using myself in 2017. I did end up using 2 bottles of Foligain shampoo. And Foligain shampoo that I was using was almost exactly as this one here, but the ones that I was using was without minoxidil. Like it did have all other components that are here in this shampoo, but it didn't have minoxidil. And this shampoo, like you can see that it is a shampoo that contains minoxidil, which is a bit strange, but I would assume that it is more for marketing purpose because like this shampoo is applied for around 5 minutes in total. And to get benefits from minoxidil, you have to apply it much longer on your scalp. And if you just apply it for, let's say, 5 minutes, it's not going to have that much effect, right? Even if it has salicylic acid, which potentially could increase absorption of minoxidil, I doubt that it will have that much effect. So I would say the minoxidil that is added to this formulation is more for marketing purposes. It's not for real effect in terms of hair regrowth. But that being said, it does have a components that could be beneficial. Like it has a ketoconazole, 1%, which can be beneficial, for example, if you are having some dandruff, if you are having, for example, excessive oil or sebum that you need to control better, because ketoconazole can be helpful with those kind of issues, which again indirectly can reduce the DHT sensitivity on the scalp itself or the follicles itself. And salicylic acid also can be beneficial for those kind of issues. But again, remember, guys, if you are having more severe fungal problems, then you need to have a stronger antifungal agent, right? You need likely have to either have a 2% ketonazole or other type of antifungal agent. So if you have more severe issues, this is not going to cut it. And when it comes to those inactive ingredients, like they overall are fine. Like if you look at those on here, some of them can be mildly triggering for someone with more sensitive skin or if there is more inflammatory problems. But overall, it is okay, right? So for example, penoxyethanol is low on the list. Bentane can sometimes be issue. It is a bit high on the list. Like you can again say citric acid is a bit high on the list. Ideally, it should be lower. Mea is also problematical for some. So overall, it is shampoos that I would list as middle in the middle of the rating, like at least from what I could see from the ingredients. And like I said, I did use similar shampoo myself in 2017, and I was okay with it, but it is not something that is necessary best shampoo from the review I will give you today. And for example, when it comes to applications with shampoo, if you wonder, let's say, for example, if you want to get benefits from minoxidil and you wonder if you could keep it longer on the scalp, the problem is that some of those ingredients can cause issues on scalp reaction, on scalp imbalance if you keep it longer than 5 minutes. So don't keep it longer if you want to have an effect from minoxidil. Like what I would suggest is just getting minoxidil itself and not using the shampoo form. Next shampoo on the list is Revita. And Revita shampoo is also a shampoo that has been around us for a very long time. Nowadays, Revita has multiple other shampoos as well, but I will review the ones that I was using when I was dealing with hair loss myself. And this shampoo previously did have a ketoconazole 1% in it, but the new version I see is without ketoconazole. Like again, there may be other of those shampoos that have ketoconazole, but I kind of doubt it. But this shampoo was something that I actually did personally use for longest time. I started to try it out back in second half of 2012. On that back then I had the inflammatory problem in my scalp, like my inflammation was still a problem. And when I tried this Revita shampoo, what happened is that it caused more burning sensation for me. That being said, when I was able to solve inflammation in the beginning of 2013, I tried it again because again I had bought a bottle of it and I didn't want to waste it. So I did try it again, and the second time I used it, it was fine. It didn't cause any burning sensation. My scalp actually felt okay with it, and I ended up using Revita for almost yeah, about 2.5 years in total. And I used it until end of 2015. So if you look at the ingredients in this shampoo, it does have a multiple components that can be beneficial, right? So if in terms of ingredients, like you can see that it has a components of possible DHT blockers. It does have a components for inflammatory problems, copper peptides, MSM, for example. It also has a components that can help you with circulation, for example, as arginine, niacin, ginseng. So overall, it is good in terms of key components, key ingredients that can be beneficial for different scalp problems that can occur. And it also has a soy protein, for example, it has a wheat protein, and those can help you to have a more like a thickening effect on the hair. Like again, this is a short-term thickening effect that will occur when you wash your scalp with the shampoo. You will have more like a thickening effect, which again will disappear after next wash, right? So it's not like a permanent solution, but it can potentially be beneficial for someone who has a lot of thinning. That being said, if you look at the full ingredients list, there is still ingredients that can be problematical, right? And those ingredients can be problematical for someone who has more like an inflammatory problem on the scalp or sensitivity on the scalp. I would be more cautious about it, right? This shampoo, like I said, can be beneficial, for example, for someone who have inflammation under control, may have some microinflammation, which is more like a DHT sensitivity, and has a scalp that is more on oily side, more sebum on the scalp. I would say this could potentially be beneficial for that kind of scalp environment. All right, so next one on the list is Lipogaine. And Lipogaine, again, is a shampoo I also have used before. I did try Lipogaine, one bottle of it, in 2021. And Lipogaine, it is a shampoo that is quite simple in terms of ingredients or composition of ingredients. You can see that it is a shampoo that doesn't have that many components in it compared to the other ones, but it does contain some that can be beneficial. So it has salmeto, it has copper peptides, it has niacin, biotin, ketoconazole 1%. It also has a B6, for example, like more like DHT blocker, red clover, DHT blocker, metals, DHT blocker, zinc oxide, DHT blocker. But it also has some components that can be a bit issue. For example, ethanol can be a problem. Again, other ones also contains it, right? So it's not like just Lipogaine, but just be aware of it. And it has cocobentane, for example, that can sometimes be issue for some. So overall, it is a shampoo that is kind of okay, right? Like it is something that I would say is a bit better for some with sensitive skin compared to Revita, for example. And since it has a M oil in it, I would say that it is more suitable for someone with more like a dry skin type, normal skin type, for example. If you are having oily skin types, then I will be a bit more cautious with it. Like again, it has ketoconazole in it that can help to reduce that effect from M oil, but something to just keep in mind. So in terms of this shampoo, as I said, it could potentially be okay. Just be aware of some of the components can still be a problem for some. All right, so next one and last on this list is Regenpure. And Regenpure shampoo has two versions of it. And those versions often I see the guys get a wrong version of it. They have NT, Regenpure NT, which is more like a herb-based shampoo, more like a everyday use. And then they have a DR version, which I will talk about in this video. On DR version, Regenpure DR, it's something that I was using myself for quite a long time as well. I did use it from the second half of 2017 up until first quarter of 2020. Right, so it was several years that I was using it. On Regenpure shampoo, it is a shampoo that also has multiple components that could potentially be beneficial for someone, for example, who uses minoxidil, for example, because it can help to reduce that flakiness from minoxidil. And it also has the components for DHT blocking effects, some growth factors in it, and the formulation itself is a bit more gentle compared to other ones because it does have aloe vera gel, for example, added to it. And you can see in compositions that it is, again, water-based. So that means around 30% of the shampoo is water. Then it has aloe vera gel, which means around 20-25% is added aloe vera gel to it, which makes it more suitable, more, for example, less harsh in terms of ketoconazole, for example, that can have a drying effect on the hair itself. And then it has those other components that are, for example, that could be problematical. They are less on Lauren's list. So this shampoo could potentially be an option for someone who has more like a oily skin, more sensitive skin, for example, and is using minoxidil, right? So this is my take on it. And when it comes to those hair loss shampoos, like to give you summary of them, like I would say that Regenpure would be highest on this list in terms of benefits, in terms of not being causing too much sensitivities. Next one would be Lipogaine and then Revita. But again, you have to look into what is your scalp environment. If your skin is more oily, then I would select Revita. If your skin is more dry, then I would select Lipogaine. And then afterwards, Foligain, Xyon is Lauren's list is basically price tag for it, right? And the other ones that I mentioned, Nioxin, Alpecin, I would not recommend, right? If I was dealing with the hair loss, I would not recommend those two shampoos. So this is my take on it. And when it comes to those anti-hair loss shampoos, like you have to look in the context when you should use them. So for example, if your hair loss is just recent, right, you have recent hair loss, then anti-hair loss shampoos could be beneficial to try out. Or if you are someone who has a treatment that is more natural, that you are someone who don't want to, for example, take finasteride, you don't want to apply minoxidil, then some of those shampoos can be beneficial in your case as well, right? And if you are, for example, someone who is doing a treatment and you have microinflammatory problems, then also those shampoos could be potentially beneficial. That being said, I haven't used any anti-hair loss shampoos myself since second half of 2021. Because what happens is that if you are structuring your treatment correctly, if you address the underlying problems you are having, the reasons why there is excessive oil, why there is excessive sebum, or why there is inflammatory problems, you don't need to use those shampoos, right? It's not necessary to use them. And you can use other type of shampoos, for example, for more deep cleaning. You can do, for example, brushing in terms of removing minoxidil flakes, in terms of addressing scalp environment, making hair appear fuller. You can use topical applications, for example, for it. So it is fully possible to address the hair loss without using anti-hair loss shampoos, right? But again, it requires more work, it requires more efforts. But my thinking is that I don't want to be relying on anti-hair loss shampoo forever to address those problems, right? So if you actually work on the underlying problems, why there is underlying problems, you can avoid having need for the anti-hair loss shampoos itself. And that's my take on it. And for you guys who struggle with the hair loss, and if you are someone who needs help and guidance, or you are not seeing results from treatment at all, for example, or you want to get a better result from treatment, you can always book a session below this video. Like I have a program, I have been working with the guys, we have been able to achieve great success in terms of hair recovery. So if you are struggling with the hair loss, book a session below this video. Let's speak, let's find a solution to your problem. Or you can also get a rapid reformable workbook, which has all the essential steps you need to recover your hair if you want to do it in your own time. So this is also an option, which is great guide with all the steps you need to recover the hair. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this video. It was a bit longer video than I usually make. Let me know what's your experience with anti-hair loss shampoos, if you're using them, are they beneficial for you? And once again, thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you next one. Cheers.